Foster high quality BRICS partnership, usher in a new era for development was the theme of recently held BRICS Summit 2022. And as you see on the screen, today we are going to discuss about the 14th BRICS Summit. But before that, let us see the contents. So first thing that we'll see, what is BRICS, and the second thing, the 14th BRICS Summit, which was held in China. So let's get started. Yeah, so what is BRICS? BRICS is actually an acronym coined to associate five major economies. That is, B stands for Brazil, R stands for Russia, I for India, C for China, and S for South Africa. See, the BRICS group first met on 16th June 2009. After that, South Africa also joined it in 2010, and hence the name BRICS. So S here stands for South Africa, which joined the BRICS association in 2010. Now, why is BRICS important? It is important because, as you see on the screen, it accounts for almost 41.5% of the world population, and 4 out of 5 members are among the world's 10 largest countries by population and by area, except for South Africa, which is 23rd in both. Okay, as per the recent knowledge. Yeah, and so the summit, these BRICS nations, they meet almost every year, and hence the meet is called as the summit. The 13th summit was hosted in India, and the 14th summit, about which we are going to discuss, was hosted by China, though in virtual mode. So let us see what are the key features of the BRICS summit, what all happened, and what was there in the Beijing declaration. Okay, yeah, so the first point is that the BRICS group, they support dialogue between Russia and Ukraine. See, there is a lot of geopolitical tensions that is going around, you know it very well. So BRICS nation, they have supported the diplomacy and the dialogue between the Russia and China. However, China, India and South Africa, they have abstained from voting on a United Nations resolution condemning Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Okay, so this was the first point. The second point, what our PM said. So PM Modi, he called for BRICS cooperation for global post-COVID economic recovery. While addressing the summit, PM focused on the global post-pandemic economic recovery and the strength of the BRICS grouping. Actually, he talked about the growing membership of New Development Bank. See, New Development Bank is actually, it was formed under this BRICS association. New Development Bank, it has these members, but also New Development Bank has admitted 4 new members in 2021: Bangladesh, Egypt, UAE and Uruguay. So these were the banks that were in, these were the countries that were included in NDP, and hence NDB, and hence Prime Minister has talked about the growing membership of New Development Bank and the structural changes that has increased the influence of BRICS institution. What did the Chinese President Jinping said? So Jinping, he talked about and the world peace, and he also targeted the Cold War mentality, obviously referring towards the Western Europe conditions that are going on. He obviously, the China did not said it talked about Ukraine crisis, but not condemning Russia. It actually supported Moscow's core interest in sovereignty and security, which, however, as you know, that US had warned Beijing that it is risked ending up on the wrong side of the history. So still China supported Moscow's core interest in sovereignty and security. Okay, the next thing is Comprehensive Convention on International Terrorism. So the Beijing Treaty, it proposed to combat all the terror finance networks. Beijing Declaration, it reiterated that terrorism should not be associated with any religion or nationality or civilization or ethnic group. So BRICS has called for an expeditious financialization and adoption of a comprehensive convention on international terrorism within the UN network. It has also proposed for launching multilateral negotiations on an international convention for suppression of acts of chemical and biological terrorism. Okay, yeah, so this was there. The next thing is BRICS initiative on denial of safe haven to corruption. So summit has also welcomed the BRICS initiative on denial of safe haven to corruption, which is actually aiming to strengthen the anti-corruption capacity building through education, through training programs, through enhancing anti-corruption exchanges and cooperation within the multilateral framework. Okay, the next point is policy coordination for economic recovery from COVID. So BRICS has also called for policy coordination for economic recovery from COVID-19 pandemic by committing to continue to enhance the macroeconomic policy coordination, deepen economic practical cooperation, realize strong sustainable balance and inclusive post recovery COVID economic recovery. Okay, the framework for consumer protection in e-commerce was another thing. So declaration also welcomed the establishment of digital economy working group by upgrading e-commerce working group, and said that the BRICS nations, they have agreed to promote consumer protection in e-commerce by advancing the implementation of BRICS framework for consumer protection in e-commerce. Okay, strengthening of trade engagement of BRICS focal points. Yeah, so BRICS nations, they have agreed to strengthen the exchanges and cooperations in trade and services, the engagement of BRICS national focal points, establishing the BRICS framework for cooperation on trade and service with the BRICS Business Council. So it is actually promoting the implementation of BRICS trade and service cooperation roadmap. Okay, the next point is, I forgot to mention, but also it led to establishment of BRICS think tank network for finance. So BRICS nations decided to establish a think tank network for finance, which would work independently and provide intellectual support as and when asked for knowledge sharing, for exchange of experiences, for practice and cooperation on finance issues amongst the BRICS countries. Yeah, so these were few 9-10 points that were important for 14th BRICS Summit. And I think that's it for the day. You might have got a knowledge about what is BRICS and the 14th Summit, a key highlight of the same. So let us end this. Thank you for the day, and bye bye. Take care.